Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to share with you a clip from a recent live event with my members only on YouTube. If you want to be present at these, you can join my YouTube membership channel, support the channel, and you will be invited to these live events. In this one, myself and Tales from the Crypt Mancer and one of my brothers in Time and Attention get together and we talk about the multitude of options for investment in Splinterlands today. And both the amazing good sides of all that, those multitude of options, but also the downside in terms of distracting us and creating division in the attention that our community has for investment. And I think this is deeply important. So I think you're going to want to stick around, stay tuned, like, and subscribe. Have an amazing day. God bless.
So actually, that brings about a bigger point. So we're looking at major overhauls to the reward pools that passed, right? We're looking at Rift Watchers coming out and the pre-sale for that starting in 8 days, right?
Hang on a second.
And then we're looking at
Isaac, hang on a second. I've got a comment in here. I have no video or audio. And then that's from Colfie. And then Taylor says, is there no video? What? We're like half an hour in here, but let me see my YouTube. What? It was working earlier. Waiting for Dwayne Cunningham. I'm assuming that they can hear us because they are commenting and answering and stuff. What the heck's going on? OBS is streaming and recording. And YouTube... I don't know what that was about.
there you go.
So we are connected and it says we're streaming. And that's OP right now. Can you see me now? They must be able to. Yeah, I must have accidentally hit, I don't know, pause stream, end stream or something. It looks like we're good to go. And sorry, Isaac, for interrupting there. Can you see me now? Butter says no. What?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Butters can see me. Okay, cool. There, guys. Could you all hear us? Anyways. I'm going to just let them, I'll let them comment there, Isaac, but you were going to say something. I'd love to give you some space here.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the massive amount of things that are about to change in the next, 3 weeks, right? You've got the reward changes probably coming pretty quickly since they put up the vote where they're going to separate each league by pool. And I did some math, and that's going to be a significant change that really makes everybody want to push to the top, right? And then you've got Rift Watchers pre-sale starting in 8 days, Tower Defense starting either in 8 to 15 days, the pre-sale for that. And then that's a lot of major changes. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's like I'm sitting here trying to figure out myself, where do I put what, the crypto market's down like crazy. Where do I put what little bit of powder I have left?
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice because it feels like a lot. At least to me, like all of the things that are going to be sold, that's a lot of vouchers, a lot of DC, a lot of action. But
that's a great topic. It's like, yeah, especially today with the with the market essentially melting down, is what's to be done? Like we can't do everything, and we never could with Splinterlands. You never could unless you were independently wealthy already. There was never really a possibility that you could buy everything, especially once we got to kind of Chaos Legion. It was like Untamed was still in circulation for the first bit, then Chaos Legion, then Rift Watchers was just around the corner. We got 21 reward cards and then 7 more or something like that. It's like there's land, this tower defense, there's like this gambling game coming. It's like there's so many angles here, SPS, DC, vouchers, so on and so forth. There really isn't a way you can do it all. And for me, the question, I think you said it, is like, where do I go? What's the one I'm going to focus on? If or frankly, are there two that I really need to focus in on because I just know, and I have to know that I can't do it all the way that I would maybe want. Is there anything that's like a write-off for you? Like, are you guys going to touch the tower defense game? Is it not for you? And is there something that is a total no thank you? And then from there, I'd love to hear where the money is going to go for you each. Tails, can you start us off there?
Yeah, it's a great question, Isaac, that that you came up with here. And I actually was going to publish a video last night, but I chose not to. And I was going to title it, we've had the summer of Splinterlands, but are we going to go into the faltering fall? And it's basically the concept of there's just so much on the shelves. We almost have a surplus of like a buffet of goods that we can't possibly eat or consume. And we're going to have to make some tough choices, right? And I think even some of the biggest whales are looking at this going, what do we do? We're used to just whaling in and getting everything we want. Now we actually have to make choices because, like you said, the markets are down. People don't want to let their SPS go for 5.5 cents or whatever it is. So there's choices to be made, and it can paralyze an economy potentially if you have an oversupply of product. Meaning, Chaos Legion, like we haven't even seen what the impact on the Chaos Legion pack sale is going to be because of this. We're literally like 100 and maybe like 20,000 packs away from Conqueror Yasik, but this literally could stall that in its tracks potentially as people just get frozen and can't figure out what to do. They have indecision, right? So I do worry that with 5 million Chaos Legion packs roughly to go, that all of this stuff hitting the shelves could elongate that cycle. And if that happens and then Rift Watchers, sits on the shelves for a while, we've got, the Tower Defense game adding 2 million packs, and then you've got Genesis League Soccer. That's a lot of choices.
Yeah.
That this player base, like, let's face it, our current player base, while it is growing and it is expanding, which is great, it is not the largest player base.
True. And,
So I do worry from an pure economics factor that causes problems with the overall stagnation of the market, just because there's not enough dry powder or assets to move around to make this all work, right? It's kind of like having a Lambo but running out of gas. You had a really nice car, but you can't really go fast. So that worries me a little bit, but take that aside. If we just assume that things work and external money comes in from external investors or new players come in or what have you, I'm so excited about everything that I'm seeing here. Like, I want to play the tower defense game. I want to get involved in that. I've never played tower defense ever before. Like, I literally had to ask my stream, as we were talking about earlier, Dwayne, what's a tower defense game I can download on my phone and just try and see what this is all about. And it excites me because it's going to be, a little bit slower paced auto battler tower defense, which is, I think a good mix for me to dabble in, move from Splinterlands into that. I'm definitely want to try Genesis League Soccer. I obviously want Rift Watchers. I just don't know how I'm going to do it all. And honestly, as we talked earlier, there's so much to digest in the town hall. I need to watch it 1 or 2 more times easily.
Yeah.
But then I need to sit down and figure out, what is my strategy? How am I going to tackle this? Because I can't have it all, right? I don't have unlimited assets. And what are my breakpoints going to be? What am I going to have to sacrifice, if anything? Do I give up on Rift Watchers and just buy what I need off the store? Do I sell vouchers if it gets to a certain price and try and fund that? I still don't have enough nodes. There's just so much that I want to do.
Nodes.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's a complex equation that doesn't have a good answer. But I think all of us, to your point, Isaac, all of us need to go back in and say, okay, here's what we have in front of us. What is the plan? What is the roadmap for us as an individual player in this game, in this ecosystem? What are we going to bring in dry powder, new fiat? what are we going to sell, what are we going to repurpose, and what are we going to skip. And I don't mind challenges like that. I think that's kind of fun to tackle.
Mhm.
But I'm sure other people are probably just mortified.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just quickly, and I want to hear more from you there, Isaac. It seems to me that the what I did last time, I went heavy on Untamed. It was a main expansion set. It wasn't a booster pack with like 43. It wasn't like a booster pack with a few airdrops. It had 14 airdrops, I think. It was a big deal. It was gigantic. And so every pack was like not only full of good cards, but it had these like a large number of airdrop opportunities. And I found that Dice didn't offer the same. Not to say Dice didn't entertain me, excite me. I thought it was going to be powerful, and obviously it turned out to be. But just when you compare Dice to Untamed, I think we have to agree one was more important than the other. And I felt the same, and I feel the same way between Chaos Legion as I do with Chaos and Rift Watchers. Not that I don't want Rift Watchers, I do desperately, but I just only have so much money, and like crypto market is bleeding out. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I do like that tower defense idea. I do like, SPS at 5.5 cents. I do want more at DEC at 650 Splintoshis. I do want more plots of land and more nodes and more Chaos Legion packs, let alone Rift Watchers. So I don't know where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. Isaac, I'd love to hear from you on that one.
Yeah, so that's what I've been thinking. Like, so my first determination was, and you guys may not have this problem, but like I said, I play with a max silver modern deck, right? Like all my cards other than like stupid things like Waka are maxed for silver. Every epic 3, every legendary I have is 2. All my summoners are 4, right? So I play max silver, which lets me reach like low diamond by the end of the season. But like I don't feel like looking at their new calculations, that's a good place to play. So like I think I have to like prioritize for me getting more cards and getting to like at least a mid to high gold deck so that I can reach diamond regularly, because it feels like you're going to need to be in diamond or champion to really be making rewards. And I think that's the only thing you can kind of plan on right now, is knowing like the reward levels you're going to be seeing at those levels are going to be notable, right? So like that's got to be like my first priority. So I'm looking probably more Chaos Legion, more Rift Watchers, because that's going to give me power and cards, right, to play. I love tower defense games. One of my first early on computer projects for I worked for a company that designed mobile games, was designing a mobile tower defense game. So like I love them. I think they're wonderful and fun. But like also, this is farther away. I'm just going to say it. I'm a little shocked we are selling packs for something that is going to be in beta by the end of the year or the beginning of next year. It feels a little weird to be adding something like you were saying, like, why are we adding this now? Like, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great. I love the way they're bringing in extra developers who are dedicated to this. I think it'll probably be a great game. But, I have to get my reward return up to where I think I want it from Splinterlands before I can start focusing on this. But like I kind of wish they would have pushed this back and maybe done the pre-sales in like November or something. I don't know why we're doing it right in the middle of 5 million Chaos Legion packs. We're about to have 3 million Rift Watchers, so let's just throw something completely else on there. Now the upside is if one of these sells out instantly, like day one or the first day they're live, the press and the hype will probably spill over to everything else in the economy and be really, really big, right? But if that doesn't happen, like we're saying, if these just set on the shelf, like the last 500 Waka cards or the last, 5,000 Chaos Legion packs, it kind of weighs the economy down, because everybody's like, well, it breeds doubt. So like that's a separate thing, tangent. I like them all. I'm probably going to focus Rift Watchers, Chaos Legion. I wish I could get a node, but like that's long term for me right now. I've got a land, so I'm okay just having a land. My wife bought me that for Father's Day.
Nice.
Here's a land. But like, so I don't know. I'm excited, but I probably right now have to invest in getting my power up to 250 and something like 150, 155 right now. So I'm probably got to do that and get some summoners up to summoner level 6s and stuff like that. That'll be my focus. While all this stuff is exciting, I'll probably have to stay the task. I can't run off on tower defense right now.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that's the great way. That's a very logical approach. You guys want to focus. You got to build your, like, the moneymaker, really. It's like the core of the experience here is that you have a deck that achieves at a high level of play. And then from there, maybe there's diversity of investment options, but like if you don't at least have that, because I think if you were to, for instance, put all your eggs in this tower defense, I think it's exciting. I think I'm going to want it. I think I'm going to play it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a stupendous success. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also don't have any, it doesn't have the same, even though it's backed by Splinterlands and they've got their voice behind it and all that. This is riskier to me than, for instance, buying Riftwatcher packs. And you guys have both said, if there are multiple, I want to reiterate, it's so important. There is, the more options there are out there, the harder it is to grab our community's attention and focus it on a thing. When we got Chaos Legion and we've got Riftwatchers and we've got Tower Defense and we've got Land coming out and it's like and that's only 4, but there are probably 10 or 20 different things. It ends up being this thing, and you see it with the reward cards that are coming out when their prices just keep falling and falling and falling. In part, it's because their supply is growing, the reward cards. In part, it is because the supply is growing, but in part, it's because there's this subdivision of our community's attention. And some people play Earth, and so they're focusing on some of those reward cards like Jin Bilka. But $10 later you've got it, but they're crafting an Earth team, not a water team, or they're crafting a death team, not a fire team, and that subdivision of our community attention is made more pronounced with more and more and more options. But we haven't said, and it is possible that this tower defense game, while being kind of another distraction for our communal attention, could be also a new attraction to totally different audience of people. Do you believe that, or are you doubtful over that? That's to me the big jewel and maybe the possible huge win if it did attract a whole audience of people that are not just our Splinterlands people but are new, and now they start getting interconnected. That would be a big win. But do you guys believe that that's possible?
Yeah, what I would say, Dwayne, is you never hit a home run if you don't swing the bat, right? So you got to put yourself out there as a company like Splinterlands, and you got to take a swing. And if you miss and you strike out, it's okay. I know it's not what we want to hear in this, when it comes to Splinterlands, because you only get probably like one of those, and then the company's in danger. But here, to your point, the opportunity here with a tower defense game to bring in new players to Splinterlands, an opportunity for Genesis League soccer and sports to take off, an opportunity for Warner Music collaborations to take off. These are all, from a growth and potential perspective, these each have the possibility, almost likelihood to be home runs. And all of a sudden, if we start hitting home runs left and right, this thing really starts to get legs, and it really starts to be cooking with gas here. So I think, from that perspective, I think it's the right thing for Splinterlands to do. I don't know about the timing. Like, you could argue to say, hey, the reason why they're doing this pack sale, with another, let's say 6 months or 3 months before it even gets released as a game, is because they didn't want to risk, the funding. They had to fund it up front. And they're just trying to get the seed money to get the project kicked off, which I understand that's what they did. I'm sure if the crypto market was in a better state, they probably wouldn't have done that. But, the timing this last several months here for Splinterlands has not been ideal for crypto. So it is what it is. Let's see what happens. I would leave with maybe one piece of advice for the audience. No matter, what your journey is here in this game, stay grounded. pick a lane,
Yep.
stay in it. Don't go out and start selling blood every week to
Yeah.
pay for Splinterlands assets, right? I mean, do play the game for fun. Get what you can get, and the rest will come with time. And don't overextend yourself.
So true.
I think that's a great way to tell people to play, because like I came from being a professional Hearthstone player, like competing in the biggest tournaments, right? And I can still log on to Blizzard's, I haven't logged on in forever, but I can log on and I have gold foil sets of cards and all of those, right? And they're absolutely worthless, right? There's nothing I can do with them. Trying to sell my account will get it banned, right? Like it's just literally nothing. But the way I've taken this game is I take that same, 20, 30, $40 a month and I put it in credits and I buy some packs or I buy some cards. And eventually it keeps going up. And now I looked at my account's worth like, I think $4,000 or $5,000 now. Great. Awesome. But like, I'm never dropping that a ton of money at one time. If you put a little bit in, and you're enjoying playing the game, there's a good chance you'll get something out if you get done and you get tired of playing the game, and that's better than 99% of the other games you'd be playing right now. So I think that's a big selling point of this game. So
there is one more angle to this, and we talk about multitude of different options for investment, and I think I agree with both of your views on that. And it is kind of there are a lot. And that's not necessarily good, but there are angles to it that potentially are good that we haven't touched on. And I just would love to hear your thoughts. It strikes me that, like, we've seen that this is another way that SPS is going to be staked and held up with the tower defense game. And they told us that the tower defense game will have its own staking requirements, and then your Splinterlands experience will have its own staking requirements. And so it's not like you've got one big pool of SPS under your one account, and it's actually going to be, if you're interested in these things, it's going to be this other separate requirement for SPS. So I feel like that's possibly good from a price perspective for SPS. Plus, they're accepting DEC on the packs, and they're holding it at that peg value, which is probably good for DEC and our economy, since DEC is currently below that value. And then cards can be staked in the game. This is definitely a huge new quote unquote distraction for our financial investment, but there's also these interesting and hard to measure considerations that might help our price appreciation too, like those that I just mentioned, and maybe others I haven't thought about. And one more quick thing, they did say that they're going to where is it? For the good thing about if they do start sitting the tower defense packs, they say that the packs that remain for sale, they will remain for sale until July 1st, 2023, which is 10 months away or so, and at which time any remaining unsold packs will be removed from sale. And so if it's a total kind of slow roll, they're still going to be gone. And that those of us, if you do buy tower defense game packs, you're almost hoping that happens, because in a sense that would imply that your packs become more rare. But I guess also you want the community to be big and thriving. So, but I like that there's a time limit on it, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the one benefit, you talk about all of the pressure, right? If this puts an insane amount of pressure on DEC, because people decide, yeah, I want to get into this tower defense, it looks fun, and people in this community say, hey, if I'm one of the first people on tower defense, am I going to have the equivalent of, the Jotun tower, like I'm going to have these old original towers and things that other people make, right? So there's a chance that this comes out, puts a lot of pressure. We see people start burning SPS because DEC gets close to or above peg, and we see a lot of pressure. Like if something happens and all of this kind of combines in a nice storm of SPS reaching 30, 40 cents a token again, or then maybe we see everything sell out, and that could be awesome, right? But I don't know that it just feels like a lot, but trust that, I mean, the team's trying, but if we see SPS moon, because all of these Riftwatcher packs have to be bought with SPS, right? That's a lot of SPS coming out. we see SPS start to go up, prices. I don't know. I've got all my SPS unstaked because I think there's definitely a chance for movement here in the next 2 weeks with all of this. But I got to be honest, I'm planning on restaking it all by the end of the month.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let it set unstaked just in case.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. We'll see.
Same.
What I can add here is real quick, Dwayne, is I think what you got to give credit where credit is due. And Matt and the Splinterlands team has literally put a huge silo of rocket fuel, right in front of us, and there just needs to be the right match lit, and then this thing literally goes to the moon because they put everything in place to make it all work.
Yeah.
If you look at on the other side of the fence, if you look at Axie Infinity, that's a struggling game and economy and everything because they don't have syncs. They don't have things working together to promote the right tokenomics and economy and the behaviors, and there's no thought, there's no planning, there's no execution. What Splinterlands has done, if you look at the brilliance, it's honestly brilliance when I look at it. When I take a step back and I really look at it all, just the syncs that they put in today in the last, let's say, 8 hours between DEC, vouchers, SPS, all of it between Rift Watchers, between Tower Defense.
Yep.
I mean, look at the decisions you're having to make if you have staked SPS right now.
Yeah.
Do you unstake it? Do you buy Rift Watcher packs? Do you get, the new promo card? Do you take DEC and vouchers, and do you get the discounts on the Tower Defense? But if you do that, well, all of a sudden now you can't get access to the Genesis League Soccer airdrop. Yeah. So all this stuff is happening. And when Aggie says, hey, you're just not going to have enough, he's not lying.
Yeah.
So what all of this is putting together is a tremendous value equation. If everything falls into place, this is going to be an insanely lucrative trip here that we're going to be taking. So they put in all the right things. Let's get hopefully a little bit of help from the crypto market, maybe some external investors, and this thing is really going to soar.
Yeah, I could see this to me. It really feels like a powder keg. It feels like SPS could suddenly triple in value. It feels like vouchers could go over $1. Vouchers were 40 cents yesterday, and they're 80 cents. It wasn't technically, I'm exaggerating, but it was 40 cents very recently. And they're about 80 cents right now. And, the Splinterlands team is creating syncs for vouchers, and they're essentially incentivizing that it be raised to $3 through what they're doing with the validator nodes, and now what they're going to be doing with the packs for the Tower Defense, and as well with the pack sales through Rift Watchers. So I feel like to me it feels like either SPS or vouchers could be this powder keg that, or for that matter, DEC, because DEC is back down to 650 Splintoshis, and it feels like any one of them could double, triple, quadruple, not DEC. I really feel like maybe, moving from where it's at to peg, but that would be huge for a lot of people who are holding DEC. Any one of those 50%. Movements. Yeah. Any one of those could really change what you're able to do, and then spark excitement, and I think probably new viewership on YouTube. And then why is that important? Because it starts popping up on other people's screens that aren't in the system. And when they see the excitement and the boom that's available at a moment, seemingly incongruently, right? I feel like we could spike while the crypto market doesn't. And that is why, in part, why I'm so excited about this game and the space. But it's also it's because of the unique position that they've built for us around SPS and vouchers and even DEC and Rift Watchers and Chaos Legion and airdrops. And there's always something else in front of us, and you just keep going, and then suddenly, maybe there's a new spark. And I don't know, maybe I'm just being FOMO, but are overly excited about it, and maybe wrongly so, but I just don't think so. I mean, yeah.
So John, can I take 2 minutes and blow your mind with some data?
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to do a video on this, but I think I'll do it for your members here so they can see this first. So can you pull up peak monsters?
Yep.
if you pull up Peak Monsters and go to Explore and go to the top holders dashboard.
Yeah. Oops, hang on a second here. Explore, yeah.
Top holders.
Oh, top holders, yeah.
So look at vouchers. The total number of vouchers, I can't read your screen specifically, but it's probably like 5 million, right? Roughly.
So it says total, so vouchers balance total 5,000K. So 5 million.
Yep, 5 million. And of that 5 million, about 1.1 some million is held by Splinterlands, the company, right?
Yeah, 1.192 million is held by SL Hive, which is, I guess, Splinterlands Hive. That's probably a voucher pool, and then Go Splinterlands has 111,000. So yeah.
So here's the math. So if there's 5 million vouchers in existence today, and Splinterlands holds 1.2 million of those, that leaves 3.8 million vouchers? Is that the math? Remaining in circulation in the players.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Rift Watchers requires a voucher per pack, not just per pre-sale, but per pack. If Rift Watchers sells out between now and the end of the year, 3 million vouchers gone. So now you're at 800,000 vouchers, assuming there's still 40,000 printed a day. But just walk with me here. Now with Tower Defense, there's 2 million packs there, and you get a $3 credit for a voucher if you buy a pack with a voucher, and vouchers are selling for roughly 70 cents right now, 75 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So it behooves you as a purchaser in Tower Defense to use a voucher for every pack you purchase. So if for some reason they sell 2 million Tower Defense packs, right? Now you're at a deficit of 1.2 million in vouchers, and all this stuff is going on sale literally in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's craziness for an entire token just to be potentially consumed by the sales here. Now, also recognize here that if you go into vouchers, like if you don't have vouchers being generated by staked SPS or by nodes, the only way you can get vouchers is on Hive Engine through the liquidity pools. There's two liquidity pools. There's the swap.hive voucher pool and the SPS voucher pool. I don't know the exact depth on those as we speak today, but I believe it's around 500,000 vouchers is what's roughly in there. And I have to do the analysis on the liquidity pools themselves. But let's just say there's not 500,000. Let's just take a conservative number. Let's just say there's 1 million vouchers in that pool. If 1 million Rift Watcher packs are going to sell in the first month, which is certainly feasible, right? You just totally eliminated the entire liquidity pool right now that's maybe in existence, or maybe twice the liquidity pool that's in existence today, by selling Rift Watchers alone, not even Tower Defense, which is the following week. So these are numbers that if you're an economic person, these things just make your head spin, because you're going like, what could happen here? We are literally on the precipice of potential craziness. So.
If that happened, if anything like that happened, the price of vouchers spike dramatically because the supply whittles, and there's certain people who are holding it but don't really want to sell it. So then the price starts getting significantly higher, like maybe $3 just naturally on the market. Forget about this kind of peg value at $3. That maybe naturally $3, and then maybe that starts to introduce more desirability for validator nodes. Exactly. Isaac, do you have any thoughts on
vouchers, that? And then all of a sudden vouchers are maybe $5 instead of $3.
Wow. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like we want to see if all of these new uses for DEC, SPS, and vouchers can add a lot of demand to the voucher, to the whole process, and get things moving. Because people who have them are sitting on them and say, I think SPS is going to be worth more than 6 cents. So I'm not selling it at that. And so if it's just sitting there stagnant, we're not seeing that movement and those transactions. It's just not helping us right now. So maybe all of this gets things moving. Maybe there's enough that we start to see a climb in all of these. And then, like I said, if SPS prices get up where people are still getting, I mean, after these reward pool changes, it's looking like a win in diamond or a win in champion will net you 30 SPS, per win, right? Like, and gold, like diamond's going to be near 20, and gold is going to be like, not good. But yeah, like it looks like if you're in diamond or gold, you're going to be raking in SPS if the rewards are high enough. And then if SPS prices are climbing, that means people are really going to want to get to those rewards, and we'll see asset increases of card values as people start to buy those up and combine them. Like you said, it's like a rocket with multiple stage rocket, right? And we just it's stacked, it's built, it's on the launch pad. We just need something to light that fuse, and I think it will start snowballing, because once people have that value from their SPS, which their SPS is worth more, I think we'll see people take a profit from it and then reinvest it in something else, and it'll just start to snowball. As one asset moves into the next, I think it could snowball really well.
And I'm super excited right now, like thinking this stuff through, guys. And I'm like, I actually, while listening to Tales, I went over and I checked my own portfolio to see how many vouchers I've got, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I need more vouchers. and then to listen to you, Isaac, add to it, and to you're like, this could be a moment, and we don't know, we can't say that it can't be a promise or anything, but like this could be a moment where that gets out of hand and the price escalates so rapidly that you get this massive focal point of attention that ends up driving the rest of the economy. That's the thing. And that's what we saw in August of 2021. That's when like Splinterlands really blew up for the first time. And I'm just looking on my screen here at one of my first videos that really blew up, 27,000 views right now, 183 comments, 563 likes. I have no other video that's anywhere near that many likes. Spend $30, earn 50,000. And I was talking about how you can rent to win. And in that video, I talk about how much DEC I'm earning. And I say in today's video, I'm beginning a 7-day journey where I'm taking $30 US and starting to play the game for profit with rentals. And I talk in another video right here, 25,000 views, earn $20 to $30 per hour playing Splinterlands. These are not clickbait numbers. I actually was earning that because the DEC was worth X, and you were getting Y DEC per day, and it just translated into 20 or 30 bucks an hour playing a game. And if vouchers were to do something like we're describing, which I think we've kind of outlined some of the fundamental considerations why it's possible, if that action kind of transpired as we're suggesting is possible, then I think you get something like this, where it's like content creators talking about how their node, which is giving them 5 vouchers a day, is giving them, what is the, I think it's 5 vouchers a day per node, and you're talking like $3 or even $5 per voucher perhaps, and you're talking $15 to maybe $25 a day times 365, right? It's like the annual earning potential of one node becomes dramatically changed based on the value of the asset that you're paid in. And so these things can get away from you so quickly, and then suddenly, you're right, what we implied earlier, and we just kind of glossed over it, that could trigger massive node sales. And what would happen if massive nodes began selling? That's SPS burning, and that's vouchers burning, and so these things are almost, if one triggers, they might all trigger. Like they're dominoes lined up, interconnected and interwoven. And maybe it is unlikely that it will play out exactly as we just described, but it's possible. And so it's really important to pay attention now, guys, for the next few weeks, looking at what's happening with all of this, and try and not just, like Isaac talked about earlier, thinking about how you build your best deck, because there's new cards and you could understand the new meta before anyone else does and get the best cards cheaply. That's one major component. But also there's this whole economic game within the game that you want to be ready for. And so much is happening. It's hard to be ready unless you're really zoned in.
So, that's a really good comment. Like people should think about. Like we'll start to get the spoilers for Rift Watchers and stuff like that, and you're going to see a lot of people hype certain cards, right? Like there will be certain cards, and people will just be super hype about them. Like you're almost guaranteed at that point, like unless you open it with your opening packs, that buying that card at that point is probably not a good deal. Because if it is that good, you're right, as people expected, and everybody's trying to get it, well, it's probably not going to go up that much more from that point because everybody expected it to be good. But if you're looking for the cards that you think, and you've played the game long enough and you're putting your expertise in, like, and you're buying up cards, which is what people will be doing, and it's just experience from being around card games. They'll be opening packs because they want to get that good card, right? And they will just naturally open packs, and then they will go to the marketplace and they will sell everything except for what they think is the super OP stuff, so that they can buy more packs and open more packs. So if you're ready when they're doing that, you can pick up really good cards that later will go up in value when everybody gets over the hype or already has all their final cards, copies of that card. When those cards will go up too, but they're going to go up slower and behind it. And sometimes they'll go up more than even that first card, because sometimes they're just overhyped. That's just what we've seen from all other card games, right? Like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, like it doesn't matter the card game, Pokemon, whatever. We've seen that pattern, and we can learn from other card games and say, day 1 through 5, don't buy the top all-star card. Just don't. It's probably not going to climb that much. If the game designers did their job right, it shouldn't be that much better than everything else. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time. And then buy everything else. Like that was I ran a card store for about 2-3 years, and my buyer, that was his rule. Like if it was in the top 5 cards, he wouldn't buy them the first week or two. He would buy everything else for pennies and dollars just so people could buy more packs. And that's just ways you can manipulate these start of seasons, unless you're the whale with all the money and you want to buy all the packs yourself. If that's you, go ahead, but that's not how I play the game. I wish I had that much money, but not how I play it.